Hi everybody, Jo here again. Time to grab a brew and let's get some crafting done. Today I want to introduce you to some new Lavinia stencils that we've got. Fabulous designs by Tracy. And I thought I just came up with this little design. So I thought we could work our way through this and I'll introduce you to the new stencils. So I'll pop the design to one side and I'll just tell you the two stencils, well show you that we're going to be using. And for these two I've chosen these two. Now anybody who's been following me for a while won't be surprised that I like this one. I have a thing about circles. I did once design my own stencil called Jo's Bubbles. So for those of you that bought that in the past, thank you very much. So obviously I'm going to love this one. And this one's called White Orbs. And then we have this one here called Flora. So these are the two I'm going to be using. And I'll pop them to one side. The size of the card, this is just a stamping card that I'm using today, and it's a 5x7 piece. Now you know me, I'm going to do my stamping first. I know this is the design. Now I know some people would do the stenciling. The only reason I'm not doing that is because I'm using an oxide, which obviously is a hybrid ink, and it's got pigment ink as well as your dye-based ink. Sometimes when you stamp it shows through, and then you have to almost colour it in. So when I'm teaching this design, I prefer it if we try and get a good stamped image first and then put our stenciling behind. That's purely me, that I do it that way for teaching purposes. If you want to do your background first, you know me, you just do it that way. It's whatever suits you. I just like to explain, you know for me there's no right and wrong way. It's whatever suits you, but I just like to explain why I do things the way I do. Now I'm going to start by stamping this lovely mushroom stamp, one of my favourites. I do tend to use this a lot. And we'll make sure we give it a good ink. And again, I'm using the VersaFine, the Nocturne, the black. And as always, even though I've done light taps, I just catch. So with my cloth, I'm just going to clean the edge. There we go. So I'm going to stamp this, but I want it off centre. I don't like things too central. For me, I don't know, it's just something quirky to me, I suppose. If you like it central, by all means, you stamp it central. And as always, give it a minute for the ink to soak into the card. How are we all feeling today? Okay, I hope. It's very wet here. I walked to the post office this morning and it was very wet. Oh, there we go. That's lovely. So we're going to put next to that these lovely little mushrooms. As you know, I'm a big fan of these pound stamps, a big fan. So we'll do one, shall we go there, first generation, and then one behind it, second generation, obviously just to make it look like it's in the distance. Now I don't want to do identical the other side. Again, I don't want it to be symmetrical, so I'll take my first generation off there. And I think this side will go second and third. Oh, now better put another one in. Again, there we go. That's more balanced. I prefer that. And then on top, where's he gone? I need my Pipin. And as you know, he does wander off. Come back, mister. This is such a well-used stamp. But trying to keep hold of him, he does have a tendency, I don't know if that's just mine, but he does wander off. Must admit, one of my berry pound stamps flicked off in a live workshop a while ago. Oh, and you know, I still haven't found it. It's somewhere on my craft room floor. But I've got so many things, I don't know about you, but round my chair so that they're at hand. I think it's somewhere with all those. So let's plant him on top here. I keep thinking I'm going to have to move everything and then hoover to find it. Well, hopefully find it before I hoover. But the thought of actually moving everything that's carefully at hand round my chair. So I'll give that a minute. It's a silhouette. So with a silhouette, you always just need the ink a bit longer. There we go. Now that stamps beautifully. If we had a gap here, just take your fine liner and extend the mushroom up a little bit. But he's planted beautifully on there. So we'll take him off. And then I want him to be looking up, so I need something up here. And I thought, rather than using any of my beautiful big foliage stamps, again, I'd stick with my pound stamps. I've just noticed, look at this, it's got a glitter on it. And I'm going to keep all my stamping in black. I could bring colour in, but I just want to keep it mainly black for this. So I'm going to I want to look where Pipin's looking. So we'll have that there. Now these, if you look, you can pop the leaf where that stem is, so it looks like it's one longer branch. Now I don't want too many of these, and again I don't want it symmetrical, so let's have a second generation there. And then let's perhaps put a first, maybe a second there, and then one more there just to finish that shape. I like that. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to overcook it in that corner, do I? I like that flow. That's nice. So I'm going to pop my ink pad lid on, and then I'm just going to give this a bit of a blot. Again, you're versifying, it's a slower drying ink, so give it a blot, otherwise you'll smudge it. And I've seen too many crafters at workshops smudging the work, and then they get so upset, especially when they produce such a lovely piece. So it's always worth getting in that habit of just giving it a bit of a what's the word? Blot it. I couldn't think then. Oh dear. Now you know me, I'm just with a fine liner going to add a little bit of sort of grass here and just almost ground these a little. I could put my torn copy of paper, we've done that before, but because I want to do my stenciling in the background, I don't want to make a fine, you know, too much of a solid line here. I want to keep it all quite sort of fluidly and movement. Now I've just noticed that I think just needs a little bit of darkening there. Yeah, that's better. So I'm happy with that. I just like them grounded a little. So let's bring the stencil in. So the first one we're going to use the, what did I say it was called? Was it Flora? Flora. Now we're going to go for weathered wood, faded jeans, and just bring in a little bit of wilted violet. Now these are all oxides, and what I tend to do, take my lids off to start with, and I'm just going to be using my Lavinia stencil brush. Now with this I have choices. I could put them coming down. Now in my original, I tell you what, in my original look, I've used the stencil flowing up. So let's put it flowing down for this one, just as a comparison. Might as well, eh? We're not losing anything. But I'm going to have to turn it round that way because I want to flow that way just when I'm brushing. It's just easy for me. Don't ask me why. I mean, I'm not catching anything, but I'm mindful I might. Just, you see here. So I think with my brush, it needs to flow that way. Now I'm just going to hold this. You could tape it down, but I'm just holding it. And I'm lightly, now I don't want to cover the whole thing, and I want to go around these images, but again I'm just going to add a little bit to start off with, just with the grey, and you can always lift it up. Look, have a look. Oh, you see how lovely that's building up. I want a little bit down here, but not a lot. So I want it mainly. Now if you're worried about having too much ink on your brush, you can always dab it on your craft mat. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, see, that's nice, subtle. I don't like that sharp edge there, so I'm just going to add a little bit here. Just keep your eye on the shape. See, that looks better. It was a sharp edge there, whereas that flows nicer now. Right, I'm happy with that. Now, I'm going to come into the blue now and just add a bit more detail here and here. Don't want to add it all over. I almost want it to fade. So around the edges, as I've got, I like that. See, around the edges we've got grey, then we've got a bit more blue in the middle, and then just to accentuate, let's add a little bit of purple. We don't want a lot of purple, and again, you can take your time building this up. Let's have a look. See, that's nice. See how it just sort of highlights that area there. So let's add a little bit of purple over here and just down here, and let's see. Oh, I like that. Yeah, I think I need a bit stronger here. And then that bit more here. And again, the beauty of this is no two will ever look alike. Yeah, I like that. Just want to blend that. I'm going to come in with a bit more blue, a bit more grey there. That purple's a bit strong for me. Yeah, that's toned it down better. Yeah, I like that. So let's turn it round. There we go. So that's nice. We've almost got that flowing movement. Oh, I love that area there. Now, I'm just thinking that maybe could do with, just want a bit of, just in that corner, don't I? Now, let me see. But I'm not going to be able to put it back on, am I? But I just want a little bit of grey up here, just to finish, almost too white in that corner. So it's not quite matching up, but it doesn't matter. There we go, look. Nobody will know. I think that just flows better, don't you? I love that flow. Right, so pop the lids on those. Otherwise, you know what'll happen. Put my hand in them, won't I? And we'll get ink everywhere. Now, I'm just going to add a little bit of colour now. I could leave it black and white, but I just want a little bit of colour, not too much. So for this, you could use any colouring pencils. I'm just using my Inktense pencils, just because they're the ones that were on my desk. And I think when you're doing something like this, it's good if you use what you've actually got on your desk. Now, these are water reactive, so again, I'm just going to add a little bit of colour. I don't want it to take over. I just want it to be a nice subtle. And so then with my paintbrush, we'll just activate this colour, drag it down there. And again, so I've just used a brown, an orange and a yellow. I just want that pop of colour there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I could add some colour here, but I want that balance, that black. I like that. Just going to add a little bit of shade at the bottom. So I'm going to come in, you know I love my charcoal pencils. Now, we haven't got a moon here. So you could put one in if you wanted, but I don't want to. I think it would almost distract from it, so I'm happy leaving it without. So I'm just actually going to put my shadows, smudge it straight across. Look, with your charcoal, remember that the smudging does two things. A, I think it looks nice, but also it fixes your charcoal to the card. So I don't need a lot, just a little here, and that'll just ground them. I'm happy with that. Now for the orbs, and this is a lovely bit. I love this. So can you see here? Don't know if you can see. If I just lift it, let me have a look and just see what can you actually see. Almost these 3D orbs. So we're going to create those with a distress crayon. Now I have to say, my lovely friend Abs, this is his trick. So thanks, Abs. I'm having that one, mate. I'm going to pass it on, but I will credit you. And what we're going to do is, these are perfect for using, especially with stencils like this. So I want Pipin to be looking at something. So let's choose that one there. Pop it there. Now, just going to twist my crayon up. And we're going to go, put the crayon through. And this, we're going right over the branch. Colour it in, and then when you lift it out, look how you've got that texture. And again, it's lovely because it's quite subtle. So I'll put another one there, and I don't need to mask off because I'm literally just going inside this one here, and I'm going quite round the edge, rubbing my finger round so I get that nice raised edge look. That one's worked better, you'll be able to see that better. So let's put another one here. What size? Let's go for a smaller one here. I don't want it to look too symmetrical, do I? So again, the smaller one, give it a good rub with my finger. Oh yeah, that one's worked well. So we've got 3. Let's have 5. So let's have one just there. Again, good rub with my finger. Oh yeah, that one looks lovely. And just one more. Where shall we? Up here, I think. Just up here. Go for that size again. Give it a good rub. Oh yeah, I like that. Just fancy doing a little baby one. Let's just have a... Oh yeah, we need one more, don't we? One of those baby ones. Now we don't want to overdo it, but I'm just thinking up here. Don't squash the ones you've already put on. Come on, shape yourself. Yeah, I'm going to stop there. Listen to my own advice, no pizzas. Let's wind that back down, pop the lid on. So any of you have got these distressed crayons, they're great through your stencils. Better just give my finger a wipe because you know what's going to happen. Now look at that. I just think, that's beautiful. Couple of finishing tricks, just with your white pen. I'm just going to add, I don't want it outlining too much, so we'll just add a couple of highlights. We don't want too many. Now what you can do, and what I've done on my finished one, look, is I've added a little bit of shade here, just with my charcoal, just to give that extra 3D. And all I'm going to do there is just bring in and just round the edge. Now I did use a blending little paper stump for this, because if I use my finger, I don't want to, you are better letting it set a little bit, because I don't want to spoil that lovely raised edge. But if I just come in slightly, you can see how it just gives that lovely, lovely impression of those orbs. So let's just add another one and another one there. Like I said, it would be better letting it set, but I wanted to show you how I did that. So there we go. So I think that's just such a lovely, these are gorgeous stencils. And if I bring the original one in, let's move my things out of the way. Now, I actually don't know which way I like the stencil. I think I quite like it coming down, although I like it flowing up. Well, do you know, choices, choices. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you look at the new stencils. I'll be coming back next week. I'll look for another couple of the new stencils, and maybe we'll have a bit of a get-together using those. So take care, everybody. As always, thanks for popping in, and thanks for your lovely comments. Honestly, I really do appreciate them. It's such a lovely community on here. Okay, take care, everybody. Love and hugs. Bye for now.